Hello and welcome to my business model slash technology business growth cycle for the organization called Balloons by Shells. Let's get right into it. Now, this organization is a backdrop rental company for parties, events, and also balloon tabletop decoration uh, for Valentine's Day and things like that. And this is some of these are some of the backdrops that she creates for her events. So as you can see right here, it goes anywhere from Christmas time for the Grinch. This I believe was a Barbie birthday party. This was for a wedding, and I believe the bride and groom had their they stood in front of it, which was a really cool feature. This was for a baby's birthday shower, and then these are the tabletop balloon arrangements that you can purchase for Valentine's Day, anniversaries, Christmas, things like that. So this is a general idea of what this business is about, and it is a for-profit business. Um, but I believe the prices are very affordable and cheap. So, how does revenue come in? Revenue comes in from clientele, um, new and returning clients, and monthly clients as well. So, a lot of times I've seen this business do an arrangement or a backdrop for one client, and that client comes back for more and more and tells their family members and puts them on their social media, and that gets more attention and more clientele to come. And so that is the main source of revenue for Balloons by Shells. Another source of income is holiday arrangements. Like I said previously, Christmas, birthdays, Valentine's Day, mostly Easter, any holiday you can think of where you purchase a gift for somebody, or just a special day, or even a I was thinking about you or a get well type of occasion, you can definitely get a desktop arrangement or a backdrop for a party. And like I said, holiday parties also are a thing. People throw Christmas parties, people throw Valentine's Day parties, New Year's parties, and you can always add a balloon arrangement to that event. So those are the streams of revenue of how this business is funded. Why did I choose this organization? Well, first and foremost, I am the little brother of the owner. My older sister, Shelly Perryman, is the owner and operator and creator of Balloons by Shells. Um, so that's kind of fun to do because I get to see my sister bring life to these events and really just liven up a place. And I can also see how she does her different techniques and tries different things. She always asks me if it looks good or if it needs to be altered or anything, and I will give her my honest feedback and just to make her a better balloon or designer. This organization is Christian owned, and I do know for a fact that whatever revenue or financial income is taken in, a 10% goes to tithes and offerings because that is what God commanded us to do in the Bible. And I know that the Lord gets what's His, and then the rest goes back into the business. That was another main reason why I chose the organization because it's Christ based. And believe it or not, it was founded after the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of gatherings and parties were no longer allowed to be had. So um, this was just a way to brighten up someone's day or just brighten up a small little gathering or just like the place where a family is having a party. And it was founded after COVID-19, and a lot of negative happened during the pandemic, but this organization was actually brought to life. So that's a pretty cool thing to be able to tell people. I actually started in the middle of a pandemic and run from that. So that is another reason why I chose this organization. Organization's contacts role. The organization's contact role. Balloons by Shells, that is her official logo, which I did help design. Her name's right there. She is the owner operator. That is her contact phone number. And she does not have a website, but she does have an Instagram page, and that is honestly where she gets all of her traffic and clientele from. She posts pictures immediately after she designs her balloons for the events and posts them so the world can see. And other small businesses actually repost her posts so that you can just get more attention, get more views on her designs. And it's been very resourceful and has just taken off. It's been in her favor. And lastly, what do I expect to accomplish with this organization? I want to help streamline automated processes. She does have a booking form and waiver forms, but she has to remind herself to get those done. So I want to be able to assist her with getting all that done within one click or one touch of a screen. All the booking sheets and financial, business gets done automatically. I also would like for her to gain new clientele with a faster automated process. More clientele could be booked, and that could just create more and more business for her. That is a positive. Of course, financial profit. The more clientele she gets, the more finances that come in, and that's all thanks to the first bullet point of an automated process, a streamlined automated process. So that will assist with gaining new clientele and bring in more finances for the business. And lastly, less stress. The less she has to worry about if a client or a customer signed a document or submitted their deposit or payment because it's all automated, the better for her. She will not have to worry about checking constantly back and forth to see which booking is good to go, which is still on pause, waiting for deposits, and such and so forth and so on. So that is what I would like to accomplish with this organization. The business strengths. One of the business strengths that I discovered is that Shelly works directly with the customer. So what that means is, from start to finish, they reach out to her. They ask if she's available for a certain date. Lets her know of the type of balloon arrangement that they want, either a desktop arrangement or a backdrop for a candy table, cake table, uh, photo backdrop, stuff like that. And so from start to finish, she is meted and greeted by the client, the customer, and from there the business just takes off. Um, she definitely uses high quality products. She does not like to use, well, she's actually used different types of balloons, and she can just tell that they don't cut it for her as far as quality and value. A lot of times balloons would just deflate, or upon inflation they'll pop easily, and so she would prefer to use higher quality products. Um, and yes, that does cost more money, but the end result can be seen after the entire arrangement is done. One thing that she does love is creative freedom. A lot of times her customers will give her an idea and say, run with it. And she does what she does, and a beautiful backdrop or arrangement will be created. And I've never heard of a negative review thus far from one of her clients. They're majority women, females, so m most of the women just absolutely love what she has done or has brought their vision of what they wanted to life through balloons. And so that's a fun side of this business. That's a strength, most definitely, and it's continuously growing. People will repost her posts on Instagram, and then that gets reposted, and so on, and that's just how she gets growth from her business, and that's a really good thing. So that's a strength because she has a good core friend group who will share her work and get her more attention, and that's definitely a positive. Weaknesses. Now, it was a little hard to understand, or at least I'm so sorry, excuse me. It was hard to find a couple weaknesses, but I definitely was able to. Ordering products could definitely be a place where issues can arise. There could be an outage of a certain color, a certain kind. Mylar and latex balloons cost differently. Mylar are the shiny ones, and latex are just the regular, globe balloons. Um, and sometimes the supply company doesn't have them, and so she has to work around and find other suppliers or let the customer know, like, hey, that's not available. Can we try a different option? And most of the times they're fine with that, but that is definitely a weakness. Um, One person, many hats. What I mean by that is Shelly is the founder and CEO and creator of this business. And so she does everything. She does the business side, she does the creative side, she does the drop off and setup and pickup and all that stuff. So that is definitely potential for weakness because burnout can happen or stress levels can be shot through the roof. And also the weakness would be a dependency on her platforms. G Suite, which is a free software, she uses Google Forms, Google Sheets to reach out to her customers. And if that goes down, then her business goes down. Google is very prompt with outages. They will try to resolve the issue immediately because so many people depend on Google. And just like I said, her business depends on Google too. So that is a weakness that hasn't happened yet, but can happen in the future. The existing system. So her organization's objective or goal is to take your party to the next level. But in her words, it's taking your party to the next level. So her current system, she uses Google G Suite, like I previously mentioned. Deposits make things move. So she must receive a deposit of whatever her customer's total is. I believe it's half of that in order to get the balloons that they need. She has made it like, she's worked this into her system to where the money is spent for the balloons is basically purchased by the customer and nothing really out of her pocket. So that's a good thing. And then recently, COVID-19 liabilities. She has to send out forms letting her customers know that she hasn't been exposed. She is currently not feeling symptoms. If for any reason some of the party guests start experiencing symptoms, they cannot blame Balloons by Shell for exposing them because of the liability waivers that the customers have signed. And all of them are fine with that. No one really ever has an issue signing the liability waivers because they just want the party. And a lot of times they will just say, if people are going to come, they're going to come. If they don't want to come, they can stay home. And that's usually what happens. So that's new, but it's definitely something that she has to cover her tracks with. The current operating model structure. So um, acquiring business is something that she definitely would love to keep doing. New business and old business, returning customers is what I mean by old business. New are people who never used her services before. She actually got off the phone with me like an hour ago and told me that one of my friends um, wants to purchase a arrangement from her. And I thought that was really cool because I haven't spoken to that friend for a while, but we graduated together, and yet she's getting business from her. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Further development. Um, a part of further development for this business would be um, shirts, stickers, business cards, things like that. Those are aspects of this business that she can possibly give to clients and customers, family members to just promote her business. Yes, that's at a cost to her, but it's free advertisement. The amount of times that people wear or put the stickers somewhere. So that's one operating model. Staying local. She definitely does not want to go global and or acquire other competitors. She just said it's not in her heart, not in her passion to do that. She likes her business, so she would like to keep it just to herself. She doesn't have it in her to take over the business or take over the industry with her balloons by shells. And then continued, uh, same thing. She doesn't want to acquire competitors, and she would love to offer more products to customers. Products such as backdrops, wood panels, glitter or sparkly sequins. Um, there is a possibility of like an LED video wall background that I would assist her with. And also a huge market for balloons with helium. She only uses air from an air compressor to blow up her balloons and create the masterpieces that she does. But there is a whole new, I guess, level up version of balloons if you use helium. And that's something that she would love to start looking into. Of course, helium costs more money than air, but it's definitely something that she's interested in. So I think that is definitely a good idea and a right step forward in the right direction. So thank you.
And the first is the background. So I mentioned this a little bit in the first week of class. Balloons by Shells is a balloon arrangement, desktop arrangement, background uh, type of company who creates arches and different types of balloon arrangements for events, parties, balance, holidays, birthdays, and things like that. Very detailed in the finished product. Uses fine quality products for their clients and only the best types of balloons she can find, which is Shelley, for her bookings, and that's one thing that makes her stand out. Another is that it's a Christian-based company, always giving God what He deserves, and that's His 10%. This business opportunity um, will kind of always be around, I would say. As long as there's parties and events, there's going to always need to be an industry for balloons and decor. Um, I feel like balloons have been around for a long time and they're never going to go away, but an information system can definitely uh, be used in the booking process and the financial record keeping and also the inventory process of this business. Um, they use Google G Suite for forms and sheets to keep track of all of their clients, new and old. Keep records of their books as far as financial income from each event that they've had, and also a record of inventory that they have, different colored balloons, sizes, shapes, types, mylar, latex, things like that. Um, so the business objective will be business objective one, to increase revenue by automating the booking process. That just basically means it'll make it go a lot faster to book somebody and to get all the information down. I think a website design will be favorable for them. That way, clients can see the work that Shelly does and can ask for something similar for their events. And the third business objective is to add more types of backdrops to the available list of rentals from Balloons by Shells. Things, backdrops such as a wood wall, grass wall, or my personal favorite, because I'm a techie, a video wall. Where the video can constantly change and people can take pictures in front of it, or it can be a video wall, kind of like a marquee, or just anything displaying whatever the event is. I think that would be a really cool. The business requirements as a success metric. The SM1 is going to be within 3 months of the initial start. There will be a 50% increase in bookings. The SM2, within 6 months of the initial start, there will be an 80% acceptance rate as the process will become secondhand knowledge. And what that means is after the automated processes have been in place, they will be accepted more because people will understand how to use them. And by people, I mean Shelly. She'll understand the gist of it, how to enter data correctly, and utilize the automations process without issue. And the SM3, within 6 months of the initial release, there will be a 90% reduction of manual data entry. The automated process will enter data for her, and manual input of data will just go down drastically. The vision statement is Balloons by Shells is dedicated and creative small business that welcomes change, that advances their organization's booking and financial processes into the digital era. All users of the system will be able to utilize it without any extensive technological background or know-how. The system will just work. Balloons by Shells will continue to bring a visual enhancement to an event. Through automation, they will increase their bookings and further their financial profits, all while making beautiful art pieces. And that's really what this business is about, is just creating one of a kind art pieces for their clients and their clients' events. The business analysis, or the business assumption and dependencies. The AS-1, the system must be of a clean design and easily accessible, must depend on an established internet connection. Those are the dependencies, and the assumption is everything is just going to be smooth, clean, and well put together. Scope and limitations. Major features are automation processes, syncing Google with G Suite, sending alerts when inventory is low or becomes depleted, and that'll be all processed automatically. And that's a great step forward with technology to let you know that you need to order more inventory. Website design, creative examples of past work will be showcased to new and returning clients. The behind the scenes of the website doesn't really need to be broken down because it'll just work as soon as a booking form is submitted. The client's information goes into the Google Sheet and is populated in the right fields, and that way Shelly can go in there and check it out. And then the FE3 is the additional backdrop selection. Invest in modern and trendy backdrops so their clients can see them and use them. Can also be a brand new aspect of the company. Not only are they balloon arrangement creators, they can be backdrop or background rental companies for people so people can take photos at events. Here you see a scope of initial release 1, release 2, release 3. I put that in there so you can just see how it would be implemented in different release phases. The limitations and exclusions. The initial release would be available and without bugs. Non-understanding of why web design is so costly. That's pretty self-explanatory because some people really think, what's a website? You made it in 2 weeks or 1 week. Why am I paying so much? But in reality, web design, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and just because we make it really quickly doesn't mean we did a bad job on it. We just have mastered the skill and art of creating a website. So sometimes that could be a limitation for some people to understand. And they could also expect training on how the website works, but it was never in the original plan from the beginning. The business context, the stakeholder profiles. Shelly Perryman is the owner. Her major value is increased revenue, creative freedom. Her attitudes are listed below. Her major interests are making clients happy, establishing and maintaining a good rapport, financial profit, and the 10% ties going back to God's house. Major interest of that area right there. For the clients, they provide the income, and a major value is that they share Balloons by Shells services to others, word of mouth, and that gains new clients for Shelly to book. Their major interests allow creative freedom to get what they pay for, plus more. They want a nice and unique design. Their constraints, sometimes they could have her set up really quickly and not give her enough time to make a nice masterpiece, or they don't pay the remaining balance immediately. She has to hunt them down for the last payment. And those are kind of, it doesn't really happen, but sometimes when it does, it's just an awkward situation and we try to avoid it all the times. The deployment consideration, um, all in all, like, time is what is going to allow this to be a smooth process. Adjustments such as being getting used to using the automated system, adjusting to it, learning what's the best method and best practice to get the data entered. And the first phase of all this should be around early to mid July of this year.
The introduction part of the SRS. The purpose of this is to automate processes intended for expediting client bookings, inventory checks, and product orderings. Automation is wonderful when it comes to notifying of when products need to be replaced, when bookings have been established, and so forth and so on. Another purpose of the SRS is going to be a clean, navigable website, so future potential clients can book the balloons services and also provide additional backdrops for rentals, as far as cake tables, backdrops for photo shoots, and things like that. The intended audience of the SRS will be the project manager and marketing staff. And then the project scope entitles features for the first release. So feature release 1 is the automation process. Feature release 2 is the website design. And then the feature release 3 is additional backdrop selections. So it's just a more clean and concise way to say what I mentioned previously in the purpose, but that's what the project scope consists of. The SRS description. Now, the perspective and the features of this SRS will be, like stated before, the 3 biggest updates will be the automation of G Suite forms and fields, adding a website to showcase previous decor types, and adding trendy new backdrops to the overall experience they provide. And what I mean by trendy, lots of bookings request wood backdrops, grass backdrops, silver sequin backdrops, so things that are really attractive to the eye. That's what I mean by trendy. The user classes and characteristics. There's 2 users in this project. The owner, which would be Shelly. She's the business owner and operator. She's responsible for all things that fall under this business. And then the clients, the ones who book her services for arrangements, garlands, backdrops, and so forth and so on. The operating environment. I basically like to say, as long as you have an internet connection, you'll be able to use this new automated process, whether that be on a phone, tablet, PC, you name it, desktop computer. As long as you have an internet connection, you can book the services and have the process take over. You can look at the website and see the different designs, and you can also order or rent additional backdrops. The user documentation will be a step-by-step how-to guide on how the automation process was created, but it won't go into too much detail because they won't need to know how it works, though it'll just work because a lot of coding and scripting never really gets explained. It just works and people like that. But for the backdrops, documentation will be provided to let them know how big, long, and how many pieces are required to set up the backdrops, weight, stands to hold up the backdrop as well. So those kind of user documentations will be provided. System features. So the automation process will be as followed. When a client enters their information, such as name, address, contact, phone number, and stuff like that, it'll automatically be logged into the client data spreadsheet. When a client selects the type of colors or quantity they want for their balloons, the inventory spreadsheet will be adjusted and account for all product availability. When the booking form is completed, it will send a notification to Shelly, letting her know that the booking has been successful, and it could also notify her of any products that are running low or out of her stock. That way she can order more to fulfill the booking need. The system feature 2 would be the website design. That's going to consist of a clean website where the client can enter and see previous arrangements and arches done for other clients, so they can get a gist of what kind of services they'll be renting. When scrolling through the website, they will find a link to the booking form, and that'll send them over to the Google form, or it can be integrated depending on what Shelly prefers. And then after the form is submitted, the system feature 1 will then initiate, which would be the automation process. The last system feature 3 is the additional backdrop selection. This is pretty simple. Clients can rent for whatever they would like a backdrop for. And as previously mentioned, candy tables, just a photo shoot area, maybe behind the his and her tables at a wedding. Backdrops can be used for pretty much any occasion. The external interface requirements. So the user interface will resemble a website that I put in the template. That is osnapsca.com. If you want to navigate there, that's what you will see that their website, Balloons by Shells, would look like. Hardware interfaces. The interactions between software and hardware are autonomous. The system will operate on browsers that adapt responsively to the screen resolutions. Specifically, it will provide meaningful displays on laptops, desktop browsers, Windows and Macs, iOS and Android devices. So as long as it's a computer, smartphone, tablet with an internet connection, it will display correctly on that hardware interface. The communications interface will be secure because clients are typing in personal, non-public information. So we will be running an HTTPS protocol for the website and the booking form. That way security will be top priority. The non-functional requirements. Performance, it'll be clean and simple web interface, no archaic processes, and no human interaction or much needed human interaction will be required because the system will just work. Safety, there are no safety issues when using the website. Security, the owner and possible web designer will only have credentials to the website editing portion of it, so those are only the security requirements that need to be addressed. And then the quality attributes. Learning how to use the system will be fairly easy. A lot of people know how to work websites and booking forms. The scripting will just be in the background, and if Shelly wants to know how it works, it can be explained to her. But usually, if it just works, it works for them. And a couple glossary terms that you'll see a lot of: automation, autonomous, Balloons by Shell or BBS, booking form, clients, and so forth and so on. A UI wireframe illustrating the user interface. So this will touch on the feature 2 of the website, the new website creation for the Balloons by Shells business. Just a visual breakdown of what to expect to see when you load it. This will be on a phone platform. It would be similar on a desktop, but just larger scale, different screen resolutions and aspects and things of that nature. But it's pretty straightforward. And I've preached this over and over. Clean and navigable is the goal of this user interface. So let's just get right into it. So here we are. Simple, clean, not cumbersome or
overly saturated with links, buttons, no continuous scrolling for days. It's just a quick website to get the point across. So over here, we have the homepage. It'll show information such as the logo, possibly like a business mission statement, things of that sort. And it'll have two simple buttons on the bottom. One that, depending on what color she wants, but just for this onexample, it could be a yellow button with a little link that says previous arrangements. And so when the user clicks that button, it takes them to this and explains like these are different event arrangements that have been made, different event garlands. And then if you keep scrolling, pictures of the arrangements, desktop arrangements, and balloon garlands will be shown. And, I don't want a continuous scrolling feed. So maybe a couple, or maybe like side by side. Although it is on a phone, there are different layout methods to select and broadcast, or what was I trying to say? Showcase multiple images in different types of collage styles. So then if you go back to the home page, there will be another button at the bottom that will take them to the booking form. Simple. You just click it, it takes you there, lets you know, like, this is how you book our services. And then the booking form, which has already been created in Google Forms, this is just a screenshot of it. It would look different on a mobile platform. Maybe not so big. The text fields to fill out information, the client's personal information and event details would be a little bit bigger. But this is just a general preview of how the booking form looks. I did snag this from her actual form, and I thought it was well put together. So that would just be decreased in size when it comes to the mobile interface. At the bottom of this form, there's a submit form button. And once that happens, this is my favorite part of the website. The little cloud automation process gets sent to Google G Suite automation scripts, and they begin running. And so this would be the feature one of the business plan, is to automate the process. So whatever the client enters into here, it goes to the cloud and then goes into her Google Sheet that organizes and puts everything in their respective areas. Now, this is an actual screenshot of her Google Sheet. She's very colorful. And that's awesome because everyone has different organizational methods. Like I said, the form will auto-populate. This sheet will auto-populate with data from the client's data from the form. And so you could have like name, address of the event, different types of color of balloons, X, Y, and Z. The list and the options are unlimited, to be honest. And then from here, a notification or email will be sent to Shelly letting her know that a client has booked an arrangement or booked a garland. Lets her know of the type of balloons, latex, mylar, the kind that, the balloon clowns tie around. I'm not sure what those are called, but if the customer wants that, then they can get those. And it will also notify her if she's running low on blue or a certain type of heart-shaped balloon and things like that. So that kind of sums up and summarizes what the automation process would do from start to finish, all from the website. So user stories. How these work are, you have a user ID, that way you can identify them. And then as what kind of user, type of user, what do they want to perform some task so that they can have a goal, an end goal. So the first three were examples, and then I went into number 4. As a CEO,
I want to ensure the business runs smoothly so that I can gain a profit. That's kind of a general CEO user story. And then after that, I started getting into how a Balloons by Shell's user would have a story. So as you see, we have some clients here. As a user, as a client, I want to book a balloon garland so that I can visually enhance my event. And it's kind of funny how these play out, because these are the thoughts we have. We first think of them like, oh, that's a nice balloon garland. I want to order with them so that way I can have one for my party. But broken down as a user story, you have an ID, the type of user and why you want to do it and your goal. So it's kind of interesting how that works out. We're just going to jump around in the clients. As a client, I want to use a booking form so that I can enter event information correctly. Instead of just writing down the event information, they can book a garland or a arrangement with a booking form. As a client, I want to use a website so that I can see previous balloon creations. That would be useful, so that way, potential clients can see the different types of balloons. Maybe they want the exact same kind that's already been designed, so they can have a website to see that at. For the next one, where, like I said, we're just going to jump around for these. As a marketing employee, I want to use Instagram so that I can promote the business. That's user ID number 16. We would have a marketing employee within Balloons by Shells, so that way they can handle all of those types of social media, website, mailer type of tasks for the business. As a marketing employee, I want to create ad-like videos so that I can showcase how arrangements are done. I don't know about you, but if you've ever been scrolling on social media, Twitter, Instagram, maybe on Facebook, you'll see a 30-second or less video advertisement. And some of them grab your attention, so you click on them, and then you go down that rabbit hole, and hopefully you eventually start buying their product, or you just pass right through it. But as a marketing employee, that would be a great idea, so that way they can showcase the business and show how arrangements are created. ID number 25, website. As a website administrator, I want to have credentials so that I can edit the website. That's very important. We don't want to have Shelly, the owner, constantly logging the marketing employee into. That's a website administrator. We don't have to have Shelly logging in for the website admin so that they can edit stuff. They should have credentials so they can do it themselves. As a website administrator, this is the last one, ID 28. I want to have internet access so that I can be able to work without issue. That's very big. As a web admin, you want to be able to connect to the internet so you can pick up and go from wherever you are. As a supplier, number 30, I want to keep track of inventory so that I can sell to businesses. The balloon suppliers definitely need to know what they have in stock so that way they can let us know if they're out of a certain color, a certain type of balloon, or if they have a lot of supply and maybe they'll go on sale because they need to get rid of them. Number 34, as a supplier, I need to be multilingual so that I can reach more businesses. That's very important, especially in this day and age. It's so good to have multilingual or bilingual people working for you, so that way you can speak different languages and have that business. That's a not really talked about topic, but it's very important. Mostly Spanish in Southern California. If you speak Spanish and English, you will definitely get a job over someone who isn't bilingual. So that could definitely help. As a CEO, number 36, I want to partner with other event planners so that I can team up and book more clients. That's a good step forward. You want to be able to partner with DJs, cake bakers, photographers, things like that, so that way they can give you business, and also you can give them business, and you guys can work off of each other. ID number 41. As a CEO, I want to give my tithes so that I can continue to have a blessed business. I think that's a very important one. It works. I've seen it. It's amazing what God will do when you give him his 10%. And last, the party goer, the event goer, the people who are there to have fun. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. ID number 46. As a party goer, I want to commend the artwork so that I can maybe score a deal on my booking. That is like a fun one to play around with. If you compliment the artist, they could probably give you a good price. You never know. You just never know. And the last one, ID 49. As a party goer, I want to get a business card so that I can inquire about prices. That way they have the information about the business and they can call and see what type of prices, balloon arrangements, garlands, backdrops, what kind of prices they're looking at to pay for their event.
The WBS stands for a work breakdown schedule. And here you see the 4 main areas of which Balloons by Shells operates. We have the management, the development, testing, and users. And under each area, we see what the management can do, what the development team does, what the testing team does, and what the users do. So for management, they create the business uses and cases. They understand what it is to be in a leadership position, and so they create what are next steps for the business. They also select project managers. It's not an easy task to lead a project, so they have to be keen and have a good eye for great leaders. And they also create the budget. Without a budget, things would probably go haywire very quickly. It's always good to have a budget. The development team creates the schedule or the development schedule of when things will be created, processed, tested, and all that good stuff. They tie in all resources, and they also review the risks of potential updates or drawbacks, rollbacks, things like that. The testing team covers communication between all departments. They are back and forth, talking to the development, talking to the user, talking to the management. They cover all grounds, which is it's a I wouldn't say tedious, but it's a very important task. They do procurements. They track assigned tasks. So once one area of Balloons by Shells is tested, they return back with results and they track the different assignments they are tasked. That way they don't repeat testing, and they can just mark it off the basically the to-do list. They handle project alterations when management or the development team comes back and says we want to try this. They handle that, and that's considered an alteration. Or if a user gets back to them and says something's not working, that's an alteration that needs to be handled by the testing team. And they also perform tasks within the project, such as testing, communication, development, and a little bit of management. They kind of encompass all of the areas of this WBS. And as far as the user, they navigate the sites, they click the links to see different photos, more information about booking, Shelly, and things like that. They use the booking form to fill out the information for potential bookings, and they book the balloon arrangements or garlands with that booking form. So the user is the end user. They basically use the website and use the automated processes to book their balloon garland or desktop arrangement. And this is how the WBS for Balloons by Shells website design works.